By the year 2020, London's roads will be in a state of gridlock. Due to government underfunding, the capital's transport systems are now in a state of decline. The purpose of this documentary is to provide a valuable insight into the present transport network and also show some possible alternatives.
The traffic in London is terrible. At this rate, I won't get back to Rome till next March. Centurion!
Buses are one way to travel in London, but with the massive congestion, tired commuters are now seeking a different method. Londoners must wait an average of 4.3 minutes for a tube and 8.9 minutes for a bus. Taxis, which have least waiting time, are 3 times more expensive than public transport. They also form around 1/5 of the transport in London. Meanwhile, at the Globe Theatre.
A horse! A horse! My kingdom for a horse! To wait or not to wait? That is the question. Time and tide waits for no man, and I cannot wait no longer.
In the mid-19th century, a multitude of omnibuses, iron-wheel coaches, hackney carriages and carts cluttered through the streets of London every day.
By 1846, the congestion in London was so bad, walking became the fastest option.
I walked from Charing Cross to Clerkenwell. It took me 20 minutes. I should do it every day. I'd save an absolute fortune. This system has got to change. The government has to do something. Something has got to change.
In 1863, the world's first underground passenger train service was opened in London. Its construction cost £1 million. This massive investment led to an easing of congestion. Within 3 weeks of its opening, it was carrying over 27,000 people. As the underground became more popular, new lines were added to the network, which led to further growth of the city and to its prosperity.
Everybody loves a tram, although you won't find many posh people on board. It's cheap, see? For 6p you can travel all over London. And if you want, you can stay on the ride all day in the car.
In 1933, all of London's transport came under the control of the London Transport Board. By 1952, all of London's trams were replaced by what was seen at the time as the modern diesel bus.
As you see, this is the route master. This do need a little bit money, spent on this one because people like me can't drive them properly, and it can be dangerous and it makes quite accidents and all that.
The future of urban travel is finally here. Never before in person kind had the glorious collective produced such a statement to futurehood. The Quattro Chair. Travel anywhere safely, up to 15 minutes in your habitat zone. Check your social credit index and make your journey of tomorrow today. Journey to your career hub. See your selected friends. The Prime Collective. Your future is safe in our hands.
London exists because of its river. Until the 19th century, the Thames was the main thoroughfare. In 1815, steamboats were introduced. They had more room for passengers than any other form of London transport. With the arrival of trains and underground network, ferry companies found themselves fighting a losing battle.
But the river now is more or less empty, apart from we're one of the busiest firms on the river, actually, Woolwich Ferry. They should be used again, but they'd have to make, they promised to make a wharf east of London and west of London, so to cut out London's traffic. That was the promise. It was like, and these big juggernauts getting into them is a little bit, they have to sort of reconstruct all the road system as well. But they're talking about running another river bus service again. They had plenty of boats, but it was about the same price of a London taxi, actually. Yeah, people in good jobs that used to use it, you know, and it saves all the congestion, because they was up in London in a matter of just minutes, you know.
In 1994, due to lack of government subsidies, the river bus went bankrupt.
Where I live is quite near Greenwich, and I used to take the family up, but it's so expensive, you know. That was about 17 quid for 4 of us.
London's taxi service is the most envied taxi service in the world.
We're everybody's enemy. Everybody hates us.
And what I think, there are taxi drivers. They're the most dangerous and the most to watch for. If you put the hand up, they'll stop straight away. They wouldn't give a damn about anything.
Although the bike is by far the cheapest mode of transport, riding in London is not for the faint-hearted.
What I think making too much traffic is this too much roadworks. Nothing was done with a plan, and now everything they're changing it. They're trying to make it, but it's making too much traffic.
I feel quite angry that the roads in the middle of London are continually being closed down. They're being worked on, and they take about, like this lot here, instead of having 100 guys on it working day and night, they'll have half a dozen on it working for 3 or 4 weeks. It's not the traffic that bothers me, it's the roadworks and the time they take.
The motorist is punished enough anyway, but I think that if they were to charge a sort of sum of money coming into the central London, a lot of people wouldn't come. And it would keep the traffic away in suburbia.
The Department of Transport are currently testing a method for pay-as-you-go motoring. This would consist of a small black box fitted into your car, into which you would insert a smart card. Charges would be varied throughout the day, forcing motorists off the road during peak hours.
Yes, I wouldn't drive a car, it's not worth it. You've got petrol costs, you've got insurance costs, depreciation costs, the cost of the car itself. It's just not worth it.
Student travel makes up 14% of daily commuters.
It can actually be quite stressful having your car and driving, and because there are so many people that are actually owning cars now and driving, that it makes you a lot more stressed.
In 1996, Friends of the Earth presented the Conservative Party with a road traffic reduction bill. This bill, in effect, favoured local authorities who make plans to ease congestion. Major cities throughout the world utilise their waterways. This is something London is failing to do, despite government promises. A proposal for east and west wharfs have not been fulfilled. A public river bus service would need heavy government backing in order to succeed.
The amount of commercial vehicles on there is pretty well nil. And we would see it, I personally would see it as the chance to use it as a highway, an eight-lane highway that goes straight up into the centre of the city. Various companies have tried it, but always been private money, and of course it's a very expensive item to introduce, and it does really need government backing to a great extent. In fact, it should be a government operation anyway, as an alternative to trains and buses. We're all aware of the gridlock within the City of London, and you know, time is money. Commercially, any time that's lost actually is attributed to a loss in money and finance. So yes, it's going to be beneficial. Experience tells me, and I've actually seen it, you can get from Greenwich to Westminster right in the heart of London in 10 minutes.
Although some of these alternative modes of transport seem unfeasible, it is also unreasonable to expect an entire city transport network to exist without full government backing. This is an old system, badly in need of repair. The British government is a government that cuts subsidies and expects the system to make a profit.
The quadrature is brilliant. I suggest every working person gets one.
So it's definitely changed your life?
Of course it has. My life is now much quicker, much cheaper, and much faster as well.
Right, how could your form of transport be improved? Like, so you take the bus. What sort of things would you like to see done to the bus to make it more comfortable for you to ride on it?
I don't know, maybe a bit of music on it, and if they hand out newspapers on it. That's it really.
Just some music and some newspapers. Right. Do you drive?
Yes.
Right. Do you have a car?
Yeah.
So why don't you drive to Kelly instead?
Because I need authorisation to park in the car park, which I don't have.
But if you did have